They're the best players in the world. They win titles, sell tickets, and collect trophies like it's a hobby. But don't get it twisted. Every single one of them has a weakness, a flaw, a crack in the armor that could bring them down at the worst possible time. From a robotic world number one to a serve bot sensation, from legends fading with age to young stars with shaky bodies, this is Hot Take Tennis, and today we're breaking down the biggest flaw of every player in the current ATP Top 10. Jannik Sinner is the world number one, and he's earned it. He's won Grand Slams, dominated Masters 1000s, and put together one of the most impressive win streaks of the modern era. His backhand is laser guided, his forehand is massive, and his serve is now a legit weapon. Add in world-class returning and near flawless shot selection, and you've got the most complete player on the planet. But you know what else he is? Kinda boring. The guy is robotic. He never gets rattled, never shows much passion, and never strays from his game plan. His tennis is nearly perfect, but it lacks personality, it lacks drama, and yeah, we think that's a flaw. Why does it matter? Because being boring doesn't just hurt marketability, it can hurt your intimidation factor. Opponents know exactly what they're gonna get. He won't surprise you, he will overwhelm you, but it won't be overwhelming emotionally. He's a cold-blooded metronome. And in high-stakes matches, unpredictability and flair can sometimes be weapons in and of themselves. Look at Alcaraz, for example. And Sinner doesn't use them. Now, he doesn't need to, yet, but when he hits adversity, let's see what happens when perfection isn't enough. Carlos Alcaraz is box office, a slam champion, a master of course, and probably the most electric shot maker in the world. His blend of power, creativity, touch, and movement is generational. When he's firing on all cylinders, no one can match his ceiling. But his biggest problem? Consistency. Not in terms of effort, but in terms of focus. He sometimes goes to war with people he shouldn't. Matches that should be straight set walkovers turn into 3 or even 5 set thrillers. He overplays, he gets too creative. Sometimes it seems he just can't help himself. He's not the machine like Sinner, and it shows. He loses matches he shouldn't. He struggles to put together routine wins on occasion, and his level fluctuates wildly within tournaments. That's why Sinner has passed him in the rankings. If Alcaraz learns to win ugly, he might just be unstoppable. But right now, his style is a little too chaotic for his own good. Alexander Zverev is a slam finalist, an Olympic gold medalist, and one of the most physically gifted athletes in tennis. His serve, especially now, is top tier. His two-handed backhand is arguably the best on tour, and his defensive movement is criminally underrated for a guy his size. On paper, it seems he should be a multi-slam champion. And what's his biggest flaw? His personality.
What's something you're really bad at?
Jesus. I don't know.
Zverev is an excuse machine. He blames courts, balls, crowds, even the sun. And when things don't go his way, the tantrums come out. You can feel it when you watch. And Hot Take Tennis has never rooted harder for an opponent to win. Talent-wise, Zverev is top 3. But mentally, we think he's a liability.
You've had a couple of early exits in the Masters this year, so how nice to get one under your belt here.
I did, but I won a tournament 2 weeks ago, so I don't really like to think about it. It's your job, thinking about stupid questions, and the matches are an hour long, so I'll leave it up to you.
And when it comes to slams and big moments, that flaw shows up time and time again, until he fixes what's between the ears we think he'll keep falling short. Taylor Fritz has carved out a spot as America's top player. He's won a Masters 1000, ATP 500s, gone deep at slams, and has a powerful 1-2 punch with his serve and forehand. He's proven he can hang with the best, but clay, well, that's another story. And his flaw is his movement, especially on those slower surfaces where his weapons just don't show themselves as much as they can. He's too slow, his footwork gets exposed on the slower clay courts. Sure, he's had some success, but once Roland Garros hits, the cracks start to show. It seems he's not quick enough to chase down sharp angles or recover defensively. If Fritz wants to contend at every slam, especially Roland Garros, he needs to improve his speed, because right now, his feet are a step behind the game. Novak Djokovic is the greatest men's tennis player of all time, period. He's won every slam multiple times, dominated in multiple eras, and built a career out of humiliating legends. But now, his biggest flaw is the one thing he can't control. He's old. It's not a dig, it's just reality. Father Time is undefeated, Djokovic is officially out of his prime, and the signs are everywhere. He's slower, he's more injury prone, his aura is fading. He might never play at his 2021 level again, and that's fine. He doesn't need to be peak Novak to still be great, but in a brutal ATP field filled with elite 22-year-olds like Alcaraz and Sinner, that decline matters. We're unfortunately watching the final chapter of the Djokovic era, and his biggest opponent isn't Sinner or Alcaraz. It's time itself. Quick timeout, if you're enjoying this video, make sure to like and subscribe. Only 8% of you who watch Hot Take Tennis are actually subscribed, which is crazy. So hit that button, it helps us out a ton, and let us keep roasting the top of the sport. Alright, back to the flaws. Jack Draper has finally broken through. A former phenom stuck outside the top 50 just last year. Draper's now one of the most dangerous lefties in the game. He's got a huge serve, a lethal forehand, and underrated feel at net. His Indian Wells title speaks for itself. But what's Draper's biggest enemy? It's his own body. He gets injured a lot. Shoulders, hips, abs, you name it, he's strained it. He's looking better in 2025 and has had a much more consistent season, but the concern is always there. Can he survive till the end of the US Open this year? Maybe. We're slightly skeptical. Because talent doesn't matter if you're sitting on the bench in October. Lorenzo Musetti might be the most aesthetically pleasing player on tour. That one-handed backhand is a work of art. He has touch, style, and creativity for days. He's gone toe-to-toe with top guys and made it look elegant. Former Wimbledon semifinalist, his game is there. But elegance can only take you so far. And that one-hander, it's too big of a target. It sometimes breaks down under pressure, his defensive game lacks a little bit of bite, and he doesn't have the muscle or the tactical aggression to finish points when it matters. Add in some injury concerns, look at Roland Garros this year, and you've got a player who always looks like he could be top 5 or top 3, but just can't seem to string it together. Tommy Paul is quietly one of the most solid players on tour. He moves incredibly well, has a rock-solid forehand, and competes like a veteran. He's made Slam semifinals and Masters finals. The game is there, but sometimes the fire isn't. Paul's biggest flaw is that he's too nonchalant, too laid back. We know it's who he is, but sometimes you need more urgency, more fight, more grit. In key moments, he looks like a guy who's just happy to be there. The top players don't just show up, they impose their will. Until Paul does that, he's staying in the 8 to 15 range. Holger Rune is a walking highlight reel. He's got power, touch, and swagger. He's beaten legends, won big titles, and still has sky-high potential. But his flaw? Emotional control. Rune's volatility is off the charts. One bad line call, one tight miss, and the meltdown begins. He spirals, he pouts, he loses focus, and it costs him matches he should win. If Rune ever gets his emotions under control, he could be a future world number one. But right now, he's fighting two opponents, the guy across the net and himself. Ben Shelton is the most explosive American talent since peak Roddick. His serve is nuclear. His forehand is massive. His swagger? Unmatched. He's already made slam semifinals and cracked the top 10 this year. But here's the issue. He plays like a serve bot when he doesn't need to. Shelton's biggest flaw is his playstyle. It seems he's always going for broke. He lives and dies by the highlight reel. But sometimes you need to grind. You need to play the percentages. Now, we acknowledge he's getting better, but until he balances that aggression with discipline, he'll always be vulnerable to smart, steady players who just let him implode. Every player in the top 10 is elite, but even the elite have flaws. Some are mental, some are physical, some are stylistic, and the question is who can overcome theirs, and who's going to get exposed? Drop your take in the comments. Whose flaw is most fatal? And who's got what it takes to fix it? And if you disagree with any of our takes, make sure to let us know in the comments. We read every single one. This is Hot Take Tennis. We'll see you next time.